Hello, I'm Dr. Mike Miles, also known as Miles Craven, Senior Lecturer in Creative Writing at Glyndŵr University. I write mainly historical novels, and I want to talk to you today about finding inspiration from period images. The late 18th century, for example, a time of violent social unrest and early industrial change. How can we use prints and paintings from the time to help us create the right atmosphere? The answer, as if we were the painter ourselves, is to look and feel. Because to use the image is to stimulate all our senses: sight, sound, touch, taste and smell. Use of the senses is what makes our writing come alive upon the page. I wrote a book called An Uncommon Attorney. It features a dashing young attorney practicing in West Yorkshire in the 1790s. He's a lawyer, but he works for a local magistrate as well, which makes him also a bit of a sleuth. He has a number of crimes to solve, some of which play out on a very big stage. I want to show you just a couple of the prints, I looked at hundreds, I used to get a sense of time and place. We'll look at the prints together while we hear what I wrote. First up is a satirical print entitled A Lawyer and His Agent, 1793. The very year in which my novel is set. Here's the picture. And here's what I wrote. The burden of work often brought him low, but the office itself was a comfortable place where always in winter, as much for his client's sake as his own, a good fire burned in the grate. All was familiar after so many years. Near the centre of the room stood a table covered with a green beige cloth that served for a desk. Upon it lay his ledgers, daybooks and furled parchment skins of the cases in hand, together with quills, wafers and ink. This was his workroom, a place of pain and frustrating progress, for the law was a mill grinding slow and fine. All his correspondence was here, all his reference and learning. On the shelves either side of the fireplace were bundles of deeds tied round neatly with red ribbon and labelled chronologically by year. Law books, Blackstone's commentaries stood out bold like a calf-bound bully, filled the opposite shelves, and more beside the window. On the chimney breast there still hung the satirical painting his old partner had found so amusing. As befitted the public's perception of a grasping, pettifogging attorney, its subject was a shark with snapping jaws. Eagle kept it there, not out of sympathy for his dead partner, but as a reminder with grand irony of the slender profit he'd made for the past year. Aptly beside it was pinned an almanac for the new year, 1793, one he hoped would yet turn out happy for them all. Up 2 steps and through a low door was a second office, more sparsely furnished. A railed partition divided off a small waiting area for the public, who entered by the door beyond. In this room laboured his clerk, Tom Gill, on a high stool before his narrow desk. He could see him now through the half-open door, bent low over his work. Only a meagre fire burned in his grate, and the chill of the room hit Eagle like a cold breath. Secondly, Thomas Rowlandson's boxing match from 1812. On the broad flat acres of Woodhouse Moor he came upon a mustered militia force stumbling through its paces. Beyond the ragged line they had formed with musket, pipe and drum raged a pugilist contest crudely fenced against the baying crowd. Among it, Eagle hoped, was the man he'd like to see. Above an undertone, coarse and thrumming, the dull thwack of bare knuckle on skull was audible even at a distance, while at the frenzied roars of guillotine proportions, a few of the soldiers kept turning inquisitive heads. Eagle went to see what they craved to watch, drawn as they were by the sight of blood. The fight was well advanced and very one-sided despite the mismatch of height. The taller man's chest was a glistening red bib, his nose gushing like a burst pipe. Blinded by blood, he fought on regardless. He did what he could with the London prize ring rules. As many as 500 men were crammed head height around the raised platform, 20 feet square. Eagle was soon among them, attracted and repelled, just as he'd been with the public executions at York. He pushed close to the wooden rail, come within reach of the beaten man's bloody spray, when he felt a sudden tug on his arm. It had felt threatening, the sort that was followed by blows, or worse. Notice how some things in the pictures stayed the same and others changed. The ones that changed, often markedly, are the ones where I brought my imagination and my plot to bear, shone it like a torch to find what might lie behind the objects and scenery, or behind the eyes of the characters. So remember, look and think and use your imagination when you're writing. Simple really, and safe. So do try this at home. If you have any queries regarding creative writing and the courses we offer here at Glyndŵr, please contact myself, Mike Miles, or any other member of the Humanities team.